of all the places you've traveled to, which one has the most beautiful women?
That's the important question.
That's the important question. America excluded. That's just because me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think got some fly joints.
They got some fly girls in
They
there.
got some Paris is smooth.
Sophisticated chic in Paris.
Si que sí, brillando hasta mi
Hey guys.
Hi guys.
It's Caviar.
And Wings.
And we have a special guest with us today. The one, the only, Ronnie Taylor.
Ronnie Taylor.
Ronnie, tell the world, where are you from?
I'm Ronnie Taylor. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina, now by way of Miami.
How long have you been down here in Miami?
I've been in Miami now full-time for 8 years.
Like everybody is by way of Miami now.
By way of Miami. Miami's the place to be. So your relationship with travel, love, infatuated, obsessed, it's okay. Tell us what your relationship is.
My relationship with travel is a must. I love to travel. Fortunately, I was a professional athlete, so by me being an athlete, it's taking me all around the world, which kind of broadened my horizon and, just made me love traveling in different countries and cultures.
That's beautiful. So we're going to touch on that because we normally share a different city each episode and so forth, but this one is special. We want to focus on this notion of what it's like to work overseas, because you played ball overseas for, was it 13 years?
13.
Wow. So we are going to dive into all things as far as what it means, because there's probably a lot of aspiring young men out there who want to play professional sports, whether it's in the States or whether it's overseas. And I think, for most, there's this misnotion that, oh, you have to play in the NBA here in the States. But no, you can still go overseas and they pay really well, and you can have this amazing experience and lifestyle and all at the same time. So we're going to touch on that all episode. But before we do, outside of being a former professional athlete, tell us about you and what you've done in your life, what you're doing now, because you are an entrepreneur, you are many things, you do a lot of cool things with a lot of cool people.
First and foremost, my favorite job and my best job is being a dad. I love being a dad.
How many kids?
I have 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now they're all, growing up and becoming, their own individuals and stuff. So I pride myself on being a dad and, those things. Outside of that, I have a training company, Taylor Sports Group. I work with some of the biggest athletes around the world in the NBA.
Can you name drop?
Yeah, I can. Bam Adebayo, John Wall. I work with Dennis Smith. I've worked with Donovan Mitchell. I worked with a lot of big-time guys before and, continuing. Outside of that, I've also co-founded a brand called We Them Ones with Michael Beasley, which is also another client of mine.
Is that what you have on now?
It is.
Okay.
It's the sweatpants and the hat,
We need some. We
Right.
need some. We need
You didn't
some
come with
merch.
some gifts?
I got you.
Yeah,
I
we should
definitely
came
with some
all.
gifts.
Yeah, We Them Ones gears for everyone.
Yeah, so, Mike is the founder, and, I just came in on the back end, and just through the years of working together and stuff, we formulated this brand. It's really like a mantra. It almost kind of replaces the Let's Go, We Them Ones. So we're busy with building out that platform and, offering just the things that we've been through, the experiences, the culture, the community, that we built through basketball and everything like that. So I have that going, and I got a couple other business ventures that I'm looking to get off the ground this year.
I love it. I told you, everyone we bring on here is a boss. You got to be able to afford to pay for these trips.
For sure.
Some way, somehow.
Some way, somehow. Where there's a will, there's a way. So tell us about your first experience going overseas. When did that relationship with travel start?
My first experience going overseas, actually, I played basketball at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, and a lot of times when you're playing, you get a chance to go abroad with your college team. And so my first time going to Europe, I went to Stockholm, Sweden.
Nice.
That was an experience in itself. I really didn't know what to expect. I was just a young kid going with my teammates. We made the most of it. Then after that, you know, just coming back to the States, you know, continuing to play basketball. I had the opportunity to go play professional sports in Europe, and my first place I was able to play was Heidelberg, Germany.
Where?
Heidelberg, Germany.
Heidelberg, Germany.
And Heidelberg, Germany was special to me because obviously it was the first place that I was able to play, but it was a great startup place for me because it wasn't such a culture shock and it was very American friendly.
Okay.
So when I first got there, I remember I was 22, I was just young and ambitious. You know, I didn't have any real responsibilities like that, so I was able to just go and chase my goals and my dreams and stuff.
Were you nervous going out there? Like, it's
don't know how to
Germany.
feel.
It's like,
I don't think I was more nervous than I was more excited. And for me, looking back at it, some of the places I've been because of basketball, I'm like, I don't even realize how I ended up there, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just, I'm so forward focused in what I got going on, and it's just, I'm just living in the moment that I don't really have a moment to sit back and think about like, oh, I'm here or oh, I'm there, you know? I'm just taking it in as I go, and I'm moving with an open mind. So Heidelberg, Germany was cool because I was there, my teammates were great, they had a lot of military bases around, so it was a lot of Americans there. And I remember a funny story, the first time I went out to a club, I go and how they do it, like they give you a card to go in and put all your drinks on the card. And when you come out, you got to pay it. So it's always a long line. So
That sounds awful.
that's interesting.
so it's always a long line.
But what if you hit the end of the night and you're like, oh, I don't have the money to pay for this, and you drink
it's
all
like,
night?
It's like a certain amount. Like it's already, if you lose that card, it's like a certain amount you got to pay, you know?
Oh, wow.
So I remember being in this line, and I was with one of my young teammates, shout out to my boy Mario. I was in this line, and this big dude comes up behind me and like taps me on the shoulder. And he was like, hey, don't I know you? So for me, my first reaction was, you know, back home is somebody approaches you like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right, it's a problem.
Yeah, I'm hollered
It's a
I'm
problem.
hollered at this girl, or it's been some type of, you know.
Something's gone down in the past that
Yeah,
it's
so
like, you know,
yeah.
it's a little tricky.
So I give him one of those, like, nah, you don't know me. And then he was like, yeah, I do. He said, your name is Ronnie Taylor. And I turn around, it's a guy that I went to high school
They
with.
gave you the full government.
Yeah, but now he's huge,
huge.
you know? So after that, I was able to get onto the bases, get everything I needed. So like my experience was fired, you know, that year. And then the next year, you know, I played in another city in Gießen, which is right outside of Frankfurt. So basketball has really been my passport, you know? Like I've really been able to travel the world because I was good at a sport, you know? Like even if it was a language barrier or something like that, because I was good at basketball, like we always figured out how to communicate.
Yeah. Run down a lot, because you were in a lot of different places
Yeah, it was a
playing
lot.
ball.
It
Like,
was a lot.
run down the list because it's a pretty amazing
Can you remember the whole list?
I can. I was in Germany for 3 years. I was in France for 7 years. I was in Bratislava. I was in Budapest. I was in Niakaza. I was in Doha, Qatar. I was in...
I have to put a tally up.
Right.
I was in... I actually have a crazy story that I went to Iraq for a few days. I played in Jordan. I played in Bahrain. I played in Puerto Rico. I played in Dominican Republic. Yeah.
So out of that long list, what was your favorite place to be, if you had a favorite?
If I had to have a favorite, it's a small city in France called Le Portel.
Why was that the favorite?
Because that's where I had my daughter at.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and I remember when I first went there, you know, super small city. It's probably like 2 hours, 2.5 hours outside of Paris. Like it's close to Calais, so I used to take the Eurostar to go to London and stuff. It's not far from the Belgian border and stuff. But the city though, the city was vibrant because people just really gave you their all, you know, and it wasn't like necessarily a situation where they had the best of everything, but like what they had, they gave, and what they didn't have, they gave it an energy. And they just really accepted me with open arms. And when I had my daughter, I used to walk around the city with her and everybody's honking at me. You know, in the bars, they had pictures up of me and stuff like that.
Sweet.
Yeah, so Le Portel, France was probably top of the list. Like I said, it was for everything that your experiences normally isn't, but like I said, I had my daughter there, you know, I had my family there with me, and just the way they embraced me, it just kind of separated them from everybody else.
Oh, nice. How long were you there?
I was there for 3 years. I was there for
Nice.
2 seasons. Well, 1 season, then I left, and I came back for 2 more.
Okay, so that was your favorite, but that might be different than if you had to go back and live in any one of those cities. Which one would it be? Because your daughter's not there anymore.
Right. If I had to go back and live in any of those cities, Heidelberg is nice. It's a growing city.
I have to check this out. That came up twice. So
Yeah.
I have to check that out.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed my time in Qatar.
Yeah?
Doha is fire.
It's,
you know?
yeah, it's amazing. I've had a layover there. Their airport was amazing. The airport was really nice. I can't speak to the rest of it, but
Yeah.
I've heard it's really, really good.
I mean, I remember being there and my mom, it's the Middle East, so my mom's calling me all the time, like, baby, are you okay? And I'm like, Mom, I'm in Red Lobster eating the ultimate feast.
Red Lobster. Oh
They
my
have Red
God.
Lobster out
They
there.
have everything out there.
So if you go to Doha, you're going to Red Lobster?
I'm living there.
Why were you in the Red Lobster?
He was living there.
I'm living there, so, you got...
The biscuits.
Yeah, you
The
got...
biscuits are good.
You got so
biscuits.
many different restaurants from around the world, so...
So is the Red Lobster better there or here?
I think a lot of American restaurants in Europe and the Middle East are better there. Just the food
fresher,
quality and
just
everything like
fresher
that.
everywhere else.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now that's amazing. So what is something that you would tell some of these younger players who are considering playing overseas, or that's like the most feasible? Like, how do they enter into that space? Because it can be intimidating, the language barrier. Like, how do you even communicate? There's so many different countries, and it's like, do I even bother learning this language, or am I going to be playing for a different team in another year? Like, that's a lot.
That's a good question. For me, I just approach the situation. I think it's helped me in life too, with just an open mind. Like, I went in there, like, just willing to learn, to meet people and everything like that. And even for me with business, I told myself all these years that I played in Europe for 13 years, that's 13 years in vain if I don't do something with the connections and the people that I met, So, I tell a lot of my clients and younger people, like, don't just go there, take your money and leave. Like, go there, like, embrace the culture, make friends, because you just never know how you can reach back. So, like, now for my business, like, I get so many teams from Europe that reach back out to me.
Oh, wow.
What players you working with, different agencies, because they knew me as a player. And so now, and they know I always have players and stuff like that I'm working with, so teams are always reaching out to me to see, hey, what player do I have, or who is it, another guy that's coming in, or whatever, or even if they sending me guys,
Right.
And that's just comes from, my relationships in Europe. And when I was there, I was a pro's pro. I approached the game the right way, and I was always respectful and stuff like that. I handled the business and stuff. So it's been able to come back to me tenfold.
That's amazing. So being able to capitalize on all the relationships and everything you're building out there is pretty cool. What's the best part of playing overseas?
The best part of playing overseas is really, like, you're getting to play basketball. Sometimes you get tied into the politics of the game.
Right.
Over there, it's a little bit different, and it's almost like you're able to be your own celebrity for each of these teams. Like I said, when I was in Le Portel, it was like a blue-collar type of situation in terms of the town. So everybody worked all week, and their highlight for the weekend was coming to the game. So, we'll have 5, 7, 10,000 people just there. Like, this is their release for the weekend. This
Do you
is
feel like the fans overseas are more supportive than like the ones here?
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
I feel like they support people for a longer period of time, like than we do over here. We're just very.
Yeah, no, they have like real fans. Like,
Yeah.
if I can go back right now and
they still know you.
They will know me. They'll be excited to see me.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we need to take a trip with Ronnie. We'll be like pseudo like celebrities there, like the entourage.
The love that they would give me there, like, you'd be like, wow. You'd be like, I just knew you as this guy, but over there, like, I'm somebody.
I feel like they treat entertainers the same way, like people that sing and rap. Like once their career is kind of trickling off here, they go over there and there's so much
For
support.
sure. Listen, I remember being in Dubai and meeting Black Rob and his producer and manager. And at this time, respectfully, but he hadn't had a hit in maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
But he was still getting checks out there.
That's crazy.
And it's been the craziest thing, like in my travels, like what I noticed, I'll meet, Europeans, and they have a big like accent, when they speak. But when a song comes on,
They know every word.
they know every word, no accent, and I'm like, how is this working?
how's that
Like, how is
possible?
this working? But like, they really are fans.
Yeah,
that's
like,
amazing.
With us, we kind of get caught up in the hype here and there and stuff, but over there, like, they're really fans. Like, they know the history of this artist or that artist, you know. So, I mean, shout out to Europe. They have really good fans. I always tell all my NBA clients, if the NBA could ever get that type of atmosphere with these type of fans in the NBA, it'd be ridiculous.
It'll be
just, I don't know. We're so fickle over here, you know? Like, we're
no,
ready to throw people away. And
I actually went to Athens, Greece to see Kendrick Nunn play last year. And literally it's 20,000 people in the whole game. They just chanting, shooting flares. Like, I think they just did a big game earlier this year where they rented out a Coliseum. You know how they had like the Roman, the Greek Coliseums? Yeah. And they had a game in there, which was crazy. They had 40,000 people. And like, they show up, like, it's almost like watching a Carolina Duke game and how the college kids are just, it's literally like that, but times 10.
That's amazing. Well, you know, there's more games even happening with the NBA overseas to help, I think, what I would consider grow that, you know. Right. It's like Stephon Marbury, he went and played overseas after his NBA career was over and made a grip over there.
No, Stephon Marbury is the guy in China.
They love him.
You said they have statues of him over there?
They got statues and everything. Like, this is what I always tell, like, a lot of my clients, you know, you can go and reinvent yourself over there. And for me, especially, like, if you have a business, one thing that kind of, like, makes We the Ones, like, a worldwide business is just because we have fans everywhere, whether it's a fan of myself, of Beasley, of this player, that player. And I'm always encouraging, like, my clients, I'm like, continue to play. Because the more you can play, that's the more eyeballs you can attract, you know? And so whether you're in China, whether you're in Korea, whether you're in Europe, whatever the case may be, that's people that are, like, buying into you, and when they buy into you, like, whatever you say, oh, I got a t-shirt, they're buying it. Yeah. Not necessarily because of the t-shirt, but because it's you. Yeah. And like, it's like almost like a cult following, you know, so you get a lot of support there. So I'm always encouraging all of my clients, like, bro, continue to play, because even if, you know, the situation might not be ideal, it's fans you're gathering, you know, it's almost like gathering data. You know, the more data you can gather, you know, the more information you can, you know, process and stuff. So I'm always encouraging them to continue to do things of that nature. Yeah.
All right, so we talked about all the business stuff, why people should be open to playing, or why players, I should say, should be open to playing overseas. When it comes to actual traveling, being that you got to experience, like, living in these different places, like, when you go to plan a trip, like, what's your favorite place? How do you start? Where do you start? Like, when you got to, you know, the opportunity to live overseas for so long, it's like, man, like, I wouldn't even know where to start. It's like,
you've seen it all.
Not even. There's so many more places that I could go to, but I'll tell you a funny and something that's kind of ironic. As much as I travel, I'm trying to think the last trip that I've planned for myself. Most of my travel comes because of basketball or clients or something like that. So it's seldom that I just sit back and I plan a trip for myself, you know. And I'm not a very good planner. I'm more of a bear.
You're the Venmo friend.
You need Sahar to plan it out for you.
I'm a payer.
I need a new circle of friends. I need somebody here who likes to plan besides me. But
but like I said, most of my trips, like whether I'm in Turks or I'm in Australia, like, basketball took me there, you know. So like I said, I'm so grateful for the game, because it's literally been my passport to travel the world, to meet new people, to build business. Like, basketball and the access that I've had has just kind of put me in other situations to meet other people, and just I went into it with an open mind, and I was able to bring business out of it and stuff like that. But I mean, traveling has been so important for me, just the development and the growth as a man. I don't even know where I would be if I wasn't able to travel and just really get to know myself, you know. Living by yourself and living in Europe, like, you get a lot of time to yourself to kind of really understand what you like, what you don't like, you know, how you can deal in certain situations, you know what I mean? Because when it's language barriers and business involved, like, every situation might not be a perfect situation, but you get to kind of understand who you are, like, how you are handling it, and how are you adjusting to it and stuff like that. But like I said, it goes back to the travel and just being in different environments and stuff. Like, I've been a little bit of everywhere, you know, so.
So when you are dealing with, you brought up business and the language barrier, when you're dealing with contracts and stuff like that that are in other languages, do they have resources like somebody there to help you through it?
100%. And I'll tell you.
Because people have problems with contracts here in English, so I can't imagine like trying to figure it out over there.
Yeah, no, they always, I mean, we in 2025, so I mean, times have changed. You know, I started playing overseas when it was 2004. But I will tell you this, a fire thing was my daughter, my oldest daughter. So she started going to school in France. So she's really good with languages and stuff. Like my kids speak like 3 different languages.
Oh, wow.
Right, so that's another thing about travel, you know, like my kids speak German, French, and English, and a little Russian, you know, which I feel like helps separate them, you know, just going forward in life. But it was pretty cool because when I was in Le Portel, my daughter was probably around 6 then, you know, 7. And when the fans couldn't speak to me, they would speak to her. She would tell me, I would speak back to her, and she would
amazing.
translate to them.
So cute. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
You
that
have
was
a
fun.
child to help
Not your little
translate for you.
translator.
Yeah, so she would talk for me, you know, she would
I
tell
bet
them.
she loved that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like she's a wizard with languages and stuff. So, I mean, just things like that, you know. Like I tell guys, I'm like, listen, bro. Even for the experience for your kids, you know, it's fire to say, oh, you know, I grew up in France for 3 years or whatever the case may be. It just gives a different outlook on life, you know. Like my kids are very well traveled. Like for me, it was just big for them to be around, you know, big talent, you know, be around, you know, go see different things, you know, because I'm big on if you can see it, you can touch it, you can achieve it, you know. So my kids have been to LA, Vegas, New York, London, Paris, like you name it, they've been there, you know. So for them, this is normal, you know. So I want them going through life, seeing the things that should be, you know, celebrated on another level, but for them, I want it to be like normal, you know.
Yeah.
So.
That's
it's
amazing.
important.
Yeah,
It's important.
especially like we didn't get to grow up traveling
Yeah.
like that, but to be able to pass that on to your children and give them that experience, it's so huge.
It completely opens your eyes. You know, I couldn't have imagined all the things existed, you know, at 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
The way I
even
grew up.
even for my family, you know, my mom and my dad, like, my dad is just like a blue collar dude, and he really, it was just so far out of his imagination, me being in Europe, you know, and my mom was just like, baby, like if that's what you want to do, go, you know.
Yeah.
So I went, and then my dad he didn't really understand it. He still, every summer I would come back, he's like, oh, you wasting your time, you need to get a job, because he's not understanding the money that I'm making. It's just, you know.
Were they ever able to come and see you play overseas?
So my dad, he just didn't get it, and you know, he started a little bit seeing stuff I could buy, and I wasn't asking for this, and I'm moving like that. And then one time I flew him to Europe, and he came, and he seen 10,000 people chanting his son's name, and he was like, what is this? And I'm like, I'm trying to tell you.
Trying to tell you.
And ever since then, like, you know, he was more so locked in with like,
he's a fan now.
Yeah,
like, where are we going next?
yeah, no, for sure. So like, I mean, for me, that was a surreal moment, being able to share that with him, and me, excuse me kind of being like, I've been trying to tell you, like, your little man ain't such a little man no more, like, you know. And it was a great experience for him. Like, he loved it.
It was a proud moment for him, and I'm sure it was a proud moment for you too.
Yeah.
For sure,
Pretty cool.
for sure. I appreciated that, but again, it's been the travel, man. The travel has been so special for me. I've been so blessed in my life to be able to just see so many different parts of the world, and you know, it's been paid for. You know, like it's a dope experience. You know, so I'm super excited about, you know, where I go next and all these other places and stuff like that, and now I'm starting to build businesses in different parts and stuff like that. So I'm super excited about what travel and what life has to bring for me.
I love that. So we have a really, really important question. Of all the places you've traveled to, which one has the most beautiful women?
Man.
That's the important question.
That's the important question. Like, where are the most beautiful women?
Man.
America, right?
America excluded. That's just because
Okay.
we won't count here. Everywhere
Let me
else.
see. people always, when I tell people I play in Budapest, and they swear like they got so many beautiful women, and they do, but
I didn't see any.
It's not crazy to me like that.
It didn't stand out to me.
No, not at all.
I'm gonna tell you, London got some fly joints.
They got some fly girls in
They
there.
got some fly chicks in London. Paris is smooth.
Sophisticated chic in Paris.
Right.
She hates Paris.
I'm gonna tell you, and I don't even know if it's really considered. I mean, for me, obviously it's another country, but
I already know what he's gonna say.
Canada, Toronto.
What did you think he was gonna say?
Oh, I thought he was gonna say like Puerto Rico.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say DR.
Puerto Rico was
Or
cool.
DR, yeah.
Puerto Rico was cool. DR was cool.
Like Toronto.
Toronto.
It's a
Canada?
melting pot.
Man, listen, man, Canada.
All right, shout out to Canada.
Tell us about Canada.
Yeah, no, they just the energy, you know, the welcoming.
They're
like,
a lot nicer.
They are.
They're
They are.
so
And
nice there.
They're super nice.
So nice.
Like,
We're down here like, fuck you.
yeah, no, shout out to
And the
Canada.
girls are nice too. Like when you try to holler, they're super nice.
Super. Like, they're just cool. Canada is cool.
Tell us about this super nice.
Right. How
Montreal
nice
is nice. No, it's just the manners, you know, like.
Oh, the manners. That's what it is.
the
The
manners,
manners.
the manners,
That's what they
yeah.
call it. The manners. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. So what's next on your bucket? Like, what's your next bucket list destination that you want to check off?
My next bucket list destination, I got a couple places. One, I haven't been to Asia yet.
Okay.
So
Gotta
I
go.
would love
Gotta
to go.
go.
I would love to go
man.
to Asia.
We're obsessed.
Two, this is kind of basic, but I've never been skiing.
Oh, really?
I've never been skiing. Like, so I would like to, like, you know, get a cabin somewhere and go skiing.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. It's not basic.
And what else?
Definitely not basic, especially
Do it in Europe. Yeah.
Right. St. Moritz. Not basic.
I mean, I got a place that I want to go. I ain't been there yet, but it's
What's that? Go ahead, sure, don't be shy.
Colombia.
Oh yeah, we can give you all the Columbia tips.
I haven't been there. I've been hearing my friends, you know, talk about.
I bet you have.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
I bet
We
you
probably had a couple
have.
stories.
Yeah, but yeah, those three places are on my list of,
Okay,
of
that's a
places
good
to
list.
go.
That's a
That's a
good
good
list. That's a respectable list.
That's a solid list.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm going so many different places all the time.
How many different countries do you think you've been to? Like, if you don't know the actual number, if you had to guess.
At least 10 plus. That's easy.
No, you've been somewhere than that.
No, for sure. Countries?
Yeah, countries.
Yeah, because like it's like a road trip in Europe. You're like, it's nothing. Yeah.
I
It
feel
is.
like
I'll
You
say,
named more than that since
I
you
know.
were
I
here.
feel like you've lived in more
to
than
be honest with you, like I've literally been I've been more places. I've probably forgotten more places than I can remember, because the fire thing about Europe, you can hit 4 countries in one day. So like when I played in the north of France in Le Portel, like I could literally, if it was a day off, I could literally leave, be in Brussels by noon, be in Holland by 3 o'clock, and then catch, you know, a basketball game in Germany by like 8. You know?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So you can literally hit 4 countries in one day. You know,
You're just taking a train to all these, just hopping on.
train, I drive, whatever. You know, I used to take the Eurostar a lot of different places. Literally, like countries are like states. You know,
Right.
because it's just so quick to get there. So that's pretty cool. You know, I always encourage everybody. I'm like, listen, just go to Europe, bro, and have an open mind. Like, it's such a beautiful like place and so many cool people to meet and stuff like that. And it's just, for me, I think a lot of people kind of get short-sighted and think like, oh, America is the end-all be-all. And I'm like, bro, there's so much more of the world to see.
It's so much world out there.
Yeah. And you can, you know, just off of that one trip, you meet somebody one time, they end up being a lifelong acquaintance.
Yeah.
I mean, I always say that, so Hard looks at me like I'm crazy, but
I do. Kelly doesn't like making friends, first of all.
But if I, you know, spark up a conversation with somebody at the bar and then you follow each other on Instagram, you know, we'll end up talking for life.
I got one of my best friends, like, I've been friends with him since 2004, and this is my guy, you know, and I've seen him just grow, seen him get married, seen him have his family, all type of stuff like that. Like, bro, Europe, the world is fire.
You met him at a random bar in Europe?
He was one of my he was one of my teammates for my first year, and we stayed in contact. And I mean, I just made so many different friends through traveling because, you know, when I'm playing for this team and now I'm meeting all the other Americans and teammates and stuff like that, you know, of course, like you with them for 7, 8 months, so you become family, you know. Then I go to another team, whatever the case may be. So now in the summers we're spending time and stuff like that. So yeah, like I stay in contact with a lot of people I played ball with and that I met through traveling and stuff.
Dope. So if there's a city that you would not go back to, no shade, but you know, not your cup of tea.
I don't think it's a city that I wouldn't go back to. Okay, I'll tell you, it's a city that I wouldn't go back to, but I'm so happy that I went.
Okay.
So I had an opportunity. They have these big cups in the Middle East, and they pay like, you know, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for like 2 weeks. So my agent called me one time. He said, "Listen, I got another country I love is Turkey too." But
amazing.
He calls me and he was like, "Listen, I have a deal for you. You know, it's 2 weeks." He said, "But the team is from Iraq, so you have to fly, meet the team in Iraq for 2 days, and then after that, y'all leave and go to Turkey, do the training, and then after that, y'all go to Jordan. You go to Amman." And I'm like, okay, cool. So for me, like I said, I'm excited about the opportunity, you know? So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not really processing it, you know? So boom, send me the flight stuff, contract, whatever, leave from Raleigh, layover in DC, then I have to fly to Istanbul. 6-hour layover in Istanbul, right? Because it's only one flight that flies to Erbil, Iraq. And that flight is at
what Iraq? Where?
It's called Erbil.
Okay.
And that flight leaves at 10:55 at night. So when I get to Istanbul, it kind of hits me. And I'm like,
where am I going?
Like, you going to Iraq? Like, what?
What
So
year
I'm like,
was this, though? I
this
don't
had
know.
to be,
Right.
No,
That
this
makes
had
a
to
difference,
be,
too.
this had to be maybe like 2013, something between 2013 and 2014, something like that.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. So I'm there and I do some research. I don't even know why they do research on everything beforehand. I was just like, all right, because it happened so quick.
Right.
So, all right, boom, I'm there. I start looking at the team. I see some players that I knew. I hit them up. They like, cool, give me some advice or whatever. So now it's time to board my flight. Bro, I go to board this flight. I remember exactly what I had on. I had a black and white Nike suit on, my little carry-on. I get ready to go get on the flight, and like everybody's looking at me, and I'm like, bro, this is crazy. So, boom, I land in Erbil, right, and then I get a message from my agent, and my agent's like, the message was so weird, like weirdly worded, that it confused me because he was like, hey, grab your bags, go through customs. It'll be a bus outside, take it for 2 minutes, get off, and there'll be somebody there. And I'm like, wait, what? Because normally when I land,
there's someone there.
Team is there, walk me, grab my stuff, I'm going straight through, whatever.
Right.
So I'm like, what? So then I see what I thought was a black dude. I go to say something to him, bro, I don't speak no English. So I'm like, yo, what's going on? So that particular bus was the arrivals bus, which takes you to the arrival terminal.
Okay.
But like I said, how he worded it was just confusing. So I get there, and the team is waiting, okay, cool. But like, if you can imagine, it's probably 4:30 a.m., so the sun ain't quite up, and it's still a little bit dark. The roads are dusty, you know, so we get in the car, you know, and ironically, one of the other guys that had flew in too, he's Iraqi, but he lived in Detroit. So like, I'm able to talk to him or whatever, you know, so. We in the car with the team and stuff, and so the driver's like, you know, you can go to sleep if you want. I'm like, man, I'm not going to sleep.
It sounds like
crazy as hell.
the start of something bad,
Yeah, so-
like Taken,
and they didn't
Dateline
tell me-
episode.
They didn't tell me that from the airport it was a 2-hour drive, you know? So I'm in the car, he's like, you can go to sleep if you want. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm not going to sleep. So we're driving, roads are dusty. I'm not seeing nothing look like any type of city. So I'm like, bro, I'm thinking to myself like, bro, money's not everything. You are tripping right now. Like, you are tripping.
Oh my gosh.
So we're driving, we come up on a checkpoint.
Do you start questioning all your things in life at that
No,
point?
but
Like,
that's when I understood like money, like it's like sometimes it's just not worth it, you know? So we're driving, we come up on a checkpoint, they got the whole big military guns, whatever. I don't understand nothing. I just say blah, 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 basketball. Boom, go. We driving, like my eyes are wide open. Next thing you know, out of nowhere, boom, it's like a city appears, right? Pull into the city's called Doha, right? And we get into the city, you don't see no women. Literally, the 2 days I was there, no women. You don't see
Not a single woman.
Not a single woman. No women, right? So you see everybody sitting out there, coffee shops, they got a gun out, whatever the case may be. I'm like, what the hell,
where are
Ron?
the women?
They just,
They
you know,
can't come outside, right?
they can't. No,
They
you
can
know,
come outside.
they're covered up, but like I didn't see no women. I seen. I'm gonna tell you when I saw some women, but so boom, go there, meet the team, work out, whatever. And one of the days they was like, look, we're gonna go to the pool or whatever. Like they have segregated pools, like only men, only women. So this particular spot of Iraq, they loved Americans because that's where the United States set up when they went to war with Saddam. So when I came there, they just wanted to touch my skin. Like they was like, yo, we're like an extension of the United States. We love you. I met guys that had half Iraqi tattoos, half American tattoos. They loved me there, you know? So I'm there for those couple of days, you know. Long story short, you know, we finish that up. We leave to go to Turkey and stuff like that for the rest of the training. So I say that to say this. First of all, they tried to get me to stay, like to play a season there. And I was like, bro, I'm not playing here. They was like, why not? I was like, bro, like the bombing and stuff. They was like, well, the bombing only goes on in Baghdad. and
You're okay. It's only in Baghdad.
It says in Baghdad and it's only in the mornings. I'm like what the fuck?
What if someone misfires?
Right.
How far were you from Baghdad?
Probably a few hours. But yeah. So long story short, that was an experience that I loved. And I love to be able to tell the story and that I went, but I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back. No. Because it was
not
just,
if you, like, what if they gave you like, I don't know, $1 million for a season?
listen, money's not everything.
$1 million?
Right, he just told you,
It was a surreal experience, but like, yeah.
2 million, 10 million.
I mean, we can talk about it, but it's just, it was just a different type of experience. Experience I valued and I appreciated, but I don't know if I could do it again.
Yeah, it's definitely different in the Middle East in certain parts. I can attest to that personally.
For sure.
But that's crazy. Yeah, well, okay, so we know where you won't go back to.
Right.
And hopefully you'll get some of those other things off your checklist as far as
sure.
places to go. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you. You'll have to come back when you check some of those things
Things
off.
off
We
the
can talk
list.
about
For
it.
sure. We got to go on an
Can make it full
excursion or
circle.
something.
Well,
Full
the
circle.
ski trip is very doable. No,
Thank you
for
so
sure.
much for coming over, though.
Yes.
Appreciate you guys.
So thank you everyone for joining us today. Don't forget, we are on YouTube, we're on Instagram, TikTok, we're on all your favorite channels. Make sure you hit subscribe, follow, and like. Drop a comment. We'll share more. This was amazing. You're going to have to share some content with us as well so that we can share with our audience
we can
from
drop
all
it.
your travels. Yeah.
For sure.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on today. Thank you for sharing. It was amazing. I haven't met anyone that I think has lived in as many places as you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity. I love what you guys have going on.
Thank you. Tell everyone what your favorite podcast is.
Caviar Wings.
Hey. Tune in. Bye.
Until next time. Bye.